Big news, folks. Netflix is looking at expanding into cloud gaming. Cloud gaming is so dumb. Didn't these guys learn anything from Google Stadia? Nobody wants this. Why is Netflix even doing this? Who are they making this for? Netflix gaming is just gonna become the next Google Stadia. The next Google Stadia. A phrase that is now entered into the lexicon of millions of gamers around the world. And believe me, it's rightfully so. Stadia was a project so big, so ambitious, that to see it bursting into flames, crashing to the ground, while thousands of people just looked on and said, "I told you so." Well, an event like that can only be compared to the Hindenburg. And look, kids, I don't have the faintest clue of what they're teaching you in school these days, but the Hindenburg was the longest airship ever built by Zeppelin. It flew from Frankfurt to Newark, truly a feat of that generation, accomplishing what many before had said was impossible, only for it to tragically implode due to static electricity upon its arrival. And look, I'm sure on that day, there were people who also said, "I told you so," but the difference between those people and the people of today is that while, yes, they were correct about Google Stadia, they did not foresee the company's impact on video games or cloud gaming. As while Stadia was here, it moved the vertical and the industry forward, and, dare I say, proved that a AAA video game experience can be enjoyed via the cloud. Which brings us to Netflix, the company who pissed off the entire internet by highlighting how many of us were still using our parents' accounts. Hi, Mom. And if I can, for just one quick second, go back to gamer lexicon real quick. There's another phrase that gamers love to use these days, and that is the Netflix of gaming. A title often used to describe who is gonna be the Netflix of video games. For years, Netflix has dominated the TV and movie space, capturing millions of hours of watch time. And as the gaming industry expanded into subscription services, everyone was extremely excited to see who would actually claim that throne. And just like movies and television, I mean, gamers already have way too many options. I mean, you have Game Pass, PlayStation Plus, Amazon Luna, Ubisoft Plus, Nintendo Switch Online, Apple Arcade, GeForce Now, EA Play, Prime Gaming, Google Play Pass, Humble Choice, Utomic, Blacknut, Boosteroid, Antstream, Jam.gg. So with so many competitors trying to become the Netflix of gaming, Netflix finds themselves in a very interesting situation. I guess really the only way to describe this is to use, wait, if you're me, then I'm you. Man. Finally, someone who can relate to the fact that with great power comes great responsibility. I would like to go on the record and say that I wanted to use the Parent Trap clip for this, but I was told that no one in our demographic would understand that reference, and, well, mentioning Lindsay Lohan on Twitter right now is guaranteed to get you canceled, so Spider-Man. Now stay with me here because what I'm about to say might shock you. Netflix already offers video games, meaning Netflix in a way is already the Netflix of gaming simply by the fact that they are, well, Netflix. Yes, right now, mobile users of the Netflix app can access nearly 50 games that can be downloaded and enjoyed with zero microtransactions, zero loot boxes, and zero ads. If, that is, you don't consider the games themselves being ads for Netflix content, because after playing Netflix's brand new dating mobile game Too Hot to Handle, the only thing that could quench my thirst after playing it was the show Too Hot to Handle. And while mobile gaming does represent a huge segment of the video game ecosystem, ask anyone who has played these titles and they'll say, hey, I wish that Netflix offered more AAA titles. Another overused phrase from the lexicon of gamers, and simply put, AAA means good and everything else is just not worth looking at. And while I would definitely disagree with AAA being the be-all, end-all in video games, I would also point out that being able to play games like The Witcher and Cyberpunk 2077 or Resident Evil on Netflix gaming would also be pretty dope. Games that, based on Netflix's current strategy, would be quite challenging to install and run natively without a powerful console or PC, and quite possibly the easiest way for Netflix to accomplish this is via cloud gaming. The process where in lieu of having a console or PC to run your video games, instances of said game are actually running on servers miles away that is transmitting that gameplay back to your screen. Similar to the way that Netflix does pretty much everything else that they do. You see, when you watch a movie or TV show on Netflix, that video isn't installed on your local device. Instead, you stream that video to your device from the Netflix servers. So the idea of Netflix embracing cloud gaming shouldn't really be too much of a shock. In fact, dare I speak out of turn from the major population of gamers, but if anyone is going to pull off cloud gaming correctly, it's probably gonna be Netflix. In fact, Netflix Gaming's VP Mike Verdu confirmed with TechCrunch, we're very seriously exploring a cloud gaming offering. We'll approach that the same way we did with mobile, start small, be humble, be thoughtful, but it is a step we think we should take. And a move like that from Netflix is causing a lot of people to take notice because Netflix currently has over 223 million subscribers. Compare that to other gaming subscription services like Xbox Game Pass, who right now are hovering around 20 million. That gap is so ludicrous. I mean, it's the equivalent of the entire country of Pakistan being Netflix customers, while Xbox Game Pass represents Florida. I mean, with that many subscribers, Netflix instantly becomes a player in the video game industry. And there's definitely an argument to be made that with that big of a player base, it kind of cancels out exclusivity. Because for both Xbox and PlayStation, they could put their biggest games on Netflix games and reach a potential player base that is far superior and far bigger than what they currently have access to. And as far as making moves in the video game industry, I mean, Netflix is wasting no time, as they've already opened a brand new studio led by a former Blizzard Activision executive. They acquired Boss Fight Studios, Next Games, and Night School Studios, who are currently working on exclusive titles for the service. And on top of that, Netflix already owns some of the entertainment industry's hottest IPs with Stranger Things. They own Millarworld, the team behind Kick-Ass and The Kingsman, and they recently bought the Roald Dahl Company, which could potentially lead to a ton of children video games. Plus, we recently found out that Netflix Games has over 55 games actively in development. Netflix is clearly invested in the future of the video game industry. And you might be asking, why? And the simple answer to that is, well, retention. If Netflix can prevent you from leaving their app to go play video games, that means they have more eyeballs, which results in more subscribers, which in turn results in higher ad sales, which leads to more money. And that, my friends, is probably the easiest way to describe why Netflix is interested in any of this at all. Netflix loves the idea of you finishing up the latest Cyberpunk or Witcher TV series, and a pop-up comes up on your screen that says, congratulations, you finished the show. How about you play the video game? Thus keeping you in this cycle of playing and watching, playing and watching, playing and watching, a cycle that can only be described as when Joffrey finally... No. We can't say that. That's not a Netflix show. When Frank Underwood finally became... Let's discuss that one because that's probably too problematic. Simply put, Netflix wants to become the king of retention. And to do so, they need to rightfully claim back the phrase Netflix of video games. And if you excuse me, I've got a couple more episodes of Too Hot to Handle to watch.